Well, that sucks.
Boy, do we have a few things to talk about. In a game that was relatively
boring,
low event, or as Luds calls it, boring.
No, I wrote down. Patrick wants a low event hockey game.
He got it until the end where it was very high event. So let's get to it. We're going to work backwards tonight. Let's start at the end and then get to the beginning here on the DLS Stars postgame show. Yeah, how about that one? The DLS Stars post-game show. We welcome you inside our lounge studios here at our DLS downtown Dallas headquarters. We have Craig Ludwig. We have our producer, Ryan Vaughters. I'm Owen Newkirk. Thank you for joining us. Sam Nessler will join us from the AAC in a little while. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Don't forget to sign up to be a diehard, be a Supporters Club member. We'll get into all of that stuff. But as we get it going right now, let's start by talking about our face-off collection. Relatively new, as Leds would say. We've been talking about this for a while now, but it's still the newest DLLS hockey-themed shirts, and you can see the two available there, along with all the other shirts we have. AllDLS.com. Don't forget that the diehards get 20% off all merch, and if you haven't yet signed up to be a diehard, you can get a free t-shirt like that one with your annual subscription for your first year. So you might as well get right to it. So let's get right to it. I just had to send out that little reminder tweet for everybody. There it goes. And here we go. Luds, we can't talk about major takeaways and this and that. We got to go right to the end of this one because we'll get to why the Stars were in the position they were in. But they were down 2 goals in the final 5 minutes or so. They get one back. We'll talk about that later. Mikko Rantanen gets ejected from the game for a boarding major misconduct on Alexander Romanov, who looked like he was in immense amount of pain. They get the 1 goal back, and they think they've tied it with 0.1 seconds left on a Wyatt Johnston 5-on-5 extra attacker shorthanded goal on a rebound after Miro Heiskanen shot from the point. The crowd is going crazy. The league, because it's in the final minute or so of the game, automatically reviews all scoring plays. They initiate a review for goalie interference. You can't challenge it that late in the game from a coach's perspective. And, of course, as you all know by now, no goal. Goalie interference. And because of that, they win.
But it was a quick decision.
It didn't seem like it lingered very long, did it?
No. And that's not your first hint of what's happening because it's either a goal or no goal. But for me, this is, as you're watching, hopefully you are, I think what they may have done is went in there, probably the 4 of them get together, talk about it, then they look at it right away. Because at the end of this, it does look like he's getting pushed in there. But I think initially when he first comes into the picture or gets close to the crease, I believe they're probably saying that his initial path is to go through the blue paint. And that if you're defending, and again, Islanders defenseman is on his shoulder and he's trying to, deter him from getting there. And that just kind of creates more of a collision. Mm-hmm. And then we saw Rittich, blew a gasket when it happened. So, anyway, I think
which
that's
of course
what
is not the first time he's done that. He was in a Calgary Flames uniform. I believe it was Jamie Benn that he felt interfered with him in overtime, and he had a meltdown in that one. So watching him animatedly gesticulate all over the ice is nothing new for the player and against the Dallas Stars. But in the end, he was celebrating a victory after they overturned that goal.
Yeah, and I'm again, I think that's what any goalie would do. They would complain about it, especially with 0.1 on the clock. But that's the only thing I can figure out because I initially thought he's getting pushed into him. But then when you go back and you look at it, and it's such a quick response from the referees that are, watching it. And so it's going, it's going one way or the other pretty quickly. And obviously that's, again, I believe that they felt that was Robo's path to go in there. And really what else was the defenseman going to do except try to grab him and pull him back, which sometimes isn't a bad idea when you know how much time is on the clock, but it wouldn't matter anyways.
So I'm looking through the chat real quick as you're describing how you see that. And a lot of people here are saying they feel that Robertson did not have the opportunity to change course because he was pushed by Ryan Pulock.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about before Pulock. The only frame that we have, the first one, and again, we're not allowed to show what's happened to have, but if there was nobody else in the picture in a white jersey, I believe the path that it looks like he's taking, his skate would have went through the blue paint.
So let me ask you,
because yes, if he wasn't interfered with, he could veer out of there.
Yes,
I can understand that, but I believe what they're going to say is his intent was to skate through here. But listen, I don't know. That's what I think they're saying.
Let me separate real quick because I think you're doing what professionally is the right thing to do, which is trying to explain why the call was ruled the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Step back to you personally as you watch that. Do you agree with the ruling?
Well, no, I think no. Back in the day, you'd have broke his ankle before he even got there, or you're going to chop his hand or something like that. Like I said, the only other option, you have to, one of the phrases that we will use the most, coaches will use the most, is time and score. That's why we are maniacs when it comes to having 30 clocks in our house.
Right.
We need to know time all the time.
You want the situation.
Yeah, so time and score, and these guys know the time and score. You could have probably even grabbed Robo and pulled him back and just stopped them from even getting there, which I don't know if that would have mattered, but Robo's the ones that created the rebound probably for Wyatt to slap it into the net. So I think that's where this is all stemming from. But yeah, I can see it both ways. If I'm wearing a green jersey, I'm going to sit there and complain too.
So this is where I'm coming from. I watched it live like we all did, and I went, that's a goal. Wow, they found a way. They probably, the way they played the early part of the third period, didn't deserve to win, although I thought they were the better team over the first two periods in a very low-chance game. And then you go, okay, remove yourself for just a minute, because the passion of the moment, you go, that should be a good goal. Rittich's not making that save. He got pushed, all those things. If you were an Islanders fan, which granted, I'm not asking Stars fans to do that, but if you watch that from an Islanders perspective, they would expect goalie interference there, right? So if you switch out Rittich and put Jason Robertson there, and you have, I was going to say Barzell, but I don't know if he's the one crashing through the crease. Yeah. So, but whoever, right? Maybe it's Anders Lee, their captain, is driving through, gets pushed by Miro. He makes contact with Ottinger. They put the puck in. Wouldn't all Stars fans be clamoring for goalie interference if the roles were reversed?
I agree with Stars fans. That's why you're a fan. You're supposed to say we got screwed on this one. Well, yeah, I get it, but I'm trying to play down the middle of the fairway. I'm actually trying to rationalize why they called it back. I originally thought, I was sitting down here, that's a goal. But then we have the luxury of watching it slow-mo, so do the referees. I'm just saying that's what I believe why they overturned.
Well, the referees on the ice called it a goal in live speed. Then the situation room takes over. And this is the one where Lutz rolls his eyes. In soccer VAR, the standard is it must be, but no, I've heard Gary Bettman say these same words. In Major League Soccer, they'll say that the VAR must have clear and obvious, that the call was a clear and obvious error in which to overturn.
Right.
Do you think that was a clear and obvious error to overturn?
I'm saying that's what they're, again, I didn't see the whole replay of it, so I haven't seen it. I'm down here preparing for a show while you're up there
typing away,
doing whatever you're doing.
All the stuff. Here it is right here. Okay. This is when it happened live. So I'll make that, you guys can't see this, but because we would get,
this is good TV.
We would get flagged for this, but there's Miro's shot. He crashes through. It all happens.
Okay. That's not a good angle.
Right.
Okay. You got to see it from what we
And there's Rittich losing his mind. Here he is coming across.
Okay. But can you go back?
I can go back one here if you want to watch the goalie throwing his stick and having a bit of a tantrum. So here's the play here.
That's what I'm saying. His skate is in the blue paint before he's made contact.
He's definitely,
and here's what every goalie's going to say. The goalie owns the blue paint.
So that's
what they're going to tell you.
I agree with you. I'm not. So if you look at that, Robertson's taking an angle where he's probably going to cut across inside the top of the arc of the crease. So he is going through the blue, but I think a lot of times forwards leads can get away with, trimming off the top of the crease because they know there's usually a little gap between where the goalie is and they can sneak by there. But you're right. He's going in. I don't think he's going at Rittich. I think he's going into the crease and Pulak's momentum.
Which you can't do. That's the point.
Which is, you're supposed to stay out of the crease. So, and then there's a huge collision and clearly.
But Pulak's the one that creates the collision.
Correct.
For sure, he's the one that does that. Because you're right, Robo's gonna do whatever he can. I mean, again, they know the time on the clock, right? Yep. They know the time and score. This is a desperate, moment, and so that's what you're supposed to do.
And when Wyatt scores, it's 0.1 on the clock.
And you don't see anybody in green complaining about it. They just skated off the ice.
The interesting thing and we'll get into it, when Rantanen was ejected for the hit on Romanov, which looked really bad.
Yeesh.
Patrick Waugh lost his marbles. He was screaming.
It doesn't take him much.
He was yelling at Rantanen as he was going off. He started screaming at the Dallas bench. The camera angles that we saw, you couldn't see if anybody was saying anything back. I'm sure when he gets fired up, it's even harder to understand.
Well, I think I saw the trainers were grabbing the defibrillators. The defibrillator
just in
thing
case.
Up there. Yeah, just in case.
They were ready to go.
His head was about ready to pop
off. Ultimately, we'll have to wait and hear what Glenn Gulletson will have to say after this one. We know he has a passionate streak. We've seen him tomahawk spiral a stick into the stands when he was coaching Calgary after a particular practice.
Well, he picked a fight with Colorado.
Yeah.
So he's a fiery guy.
So he has that in him too.
I think players like that.
So let's step back for just a minute before we start breaking this one down from the beginning. Do you think the Stars, I don't know if it matters, do you think they deserve to win this game?
I don't know if either team did.
Did it just feel like an overtime game, though?
I felt like I told you tonight when you got here. Yep. The first thing I wrote down on my thing before the game started is Patrick wants a low event game. In other words, no penalties, quiet, and that's the way that they got to hang around the game. And I mean, what were the shots? 10-10 halfway through the third period.
Yeah, it was very
low. There was no shots
15,
till
15.
10 minutes in. It was terrible. Not terrible. I'm just saying there was nothing really going on. It was really
funny at the end of the first period.
Exactly the way he wanted that game to go out. He did not want to put Dallas on the power, which ultimately they did, and then that's what cost him by getting a shorthanded goal. But that was the perfect game, I think, that they would consider playing against a powerhouse like Dallas is in their building.
I'm looking at this replay, which is the elevated angle behind the net. Pulak is only has one thing in mind, and maybe he's trying to seal off and deny him the front of the net.
Oh, of course, he's trying to catch him before he gets there.
His hit, he changes his path directly into Rittich, and if you watch Rittich's reaction, there's contact here.
Yeah, but even on that angle, he's not. Even on that, he's not doing that much to Robo.
No.
He didn't do that much.
But look at the goalie. He throws.
I know you want the fans out there to be on your side. I'm just telling you what the referees are doing.
I'm just looking at it. I think in the end, if I'm looking at it from the New York side, I would have been really upset if that wasn't called goalie interference, right? If you're from the Islander side. So if you're the Stars, you're sitting there going like.
I think if you're the Stars, you have to kind of live with both sides.
Yeah, I think so.
You could. I think again, like you said, if it was the other way around,
if that was Jake getting clobbered into and they didn't call goalie. We'd all be saying, we're saying either way. We don't know what goalie interference is. Where's the line? We've seen certain plays like that where the foot is in the crease and they don't call it. We've seen others where they barely touch them and they do call it. And what do we always clamor for? If there's consistency. Now, the league has demonstrated that to GMs. I think last year they did a session where, what was it, like 52 out of 56 examples where everybody was, or a majority was in agreement.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean there aren't still instances, because there is subjectiveness to it, where people start to lose their minds and say, I don't agree with it, or I don't know what it is, or boy, I really thought based on your previous standards, these met these standards, and then you didn't call it the way we expected it to.
And this has nothing to do with the Stanley Cup Hall of Fame guy being on the other bench coaching. That doesn't come into play.
Yeah, no. Well, it's interesting because we have a lot of stuff here. We've got Jamie Benn returns. Robo stays red hot. Daryl Ray honored for
Their coach was red hot.
He turned red. Literally, Patrick Roy was a beat red. We had a horrible injury late, which you never want to see.
Hopefully that.
I hope it's better than it looked, but
I'm not talking about the injury. I'm talking about what happens to Rannon.
Well, we're going to talk
if
about
anything, hopefully
all
nothing.
that next here on the DLS Stars postgame show.
Well, all these calls and that goal being called back stinks, right? I mean, it just stinks.
It does.
Well, then, here, Mando. Falls here. Chris Bear. Chris Bear. Somebody's got to change this read. It was 86 degrees today. Chris Bear, football, maybe a bonfire or two. Oh, Jesus, yeah. But if you're like most guys, you're still putting in the hard work, and yeah, that means sweat. Don't let body odor sideline you, right? You know the feeling. It's game day, and you've been working hard all week. Let's be honest, regular deodorant just doesn't cut it after a long day. Mando deodorant plus sweat control is not just another cover-up. Mando was one stick, two jobs, power for odor and sweat control. It actually stops odor before it even starts. One swipe on your giblets and you're good to go. It controls both sweat and odor for up to 72 hours. It doesn't just mask the odor, it prevents it. 100% of the study participants experienced all-day odor protection. Premium ingredients, double protection. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, premium tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 20% off with our exclusive code. Use code DLLS at shopmando.com for 20% off. That's shopmando.com.
Let's talk about Qualis Roofing. You know, usually Luds does that, but I didn't want to make him have to do 2 reads in the same ad break yet. So I'm going to tell you that with over 700 5-star reviews and an average rating of 4.9, Qualis Roofing is one of the most trusted names in roofing across North Texas and Austin, which is Central Texas, of course. Homeowners and business owners alike consistently praise Qualis for their honesty, follow-through, and quality workmanship. So let's cut right to the chase for a minute. If you schedule a free roof inspection, you will get a free DLLS shirt. If you replace your roof with Qualis, of course, high quality, they're not storm chasers, they're local, based right here in North Texas, you will get to choose between a free Blackstone grill, that really cool griddle, or a Traeger smoker. And as Lud says, because getting a new roof should come with a little extra sizzle, LOL. But I'll tell you this, if you're listening to this ad, go and get your free roof inspection. You'll get a shirt. Tell them you heard about them from DLLS, because that is important for our partnership and, of course, for our show. So help support our show by checking out Qualis Roofing. Go online or call to schedule your free roof inspection. Don't forget to ask about your free grill. You visit QualisGC.com or search Qualis Roofing and Construction. That's QUALIS, or call 817-500-9008 and get started today. All right, Luds. You want to continue in reverse order and talk about Mikko Rantanen next?
Yeah, we probably should.
Because Mikko Rantanen continues to be the guy that we all rave about. He's a big moose. He had another one of those try to hit him and really regret it reversals tonight. He absolutely flattened. I'm trying to remember who it was now. Not sure I scribbled it down, but he had another one where, just like against the Washington Capitals, where that guy.
Yeah, the reversal?
Yeah, he did one tonight where he smoked a guy and he's just, look, he's big, he's powerful. His backhand, he set up 2 Luds in the first period. First Wyatt point blank, then Jamie Benn with that backhand you've talked so much about. Maybe should have been a goal there. But here we go late in the game. He's trying everything he can. And I'm not trying to explain away this play, but he's getting in on the forecheck here, and it goes very, very poorly for Alexander Romanov.
Yeah, it's from here, again, to see this still doesn't defend him whatsoever. But Mikko's trying to get around. You know, one of the Islander players is trying to hold him up. He's trying to slow him down.
That was Mayfield behind him there, 24, I believe.
And he's just trying to slow him up. And so, but I believe right here, Romanov is already starting to fall down, right? And Mikko, it looks like he runs him from behind. It even looks like he pushes him when he falls into him. But when you get that part of the area of the ice, regardless of if there's a player there or not, and you fall and you're going straight ahead yourself, your natural instinct is to get your arms up and be ready to brace yourself. Unfortunately for Romanov, he's in front of him. So he's kind of using him to suck up the impact.
Yeah.
And again, he is not trying to catapult him in here. And the tough part about it is for Romanov is that he never got his hands up to be able to slow the momentum on it. It looked like he went face first into the boards. So, and again, I think the right call.
Oh,
well, here you go. Yeah,
this
is. It looks like he's glowing.
It does, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
You probably haven't seen the animated film Inside Out, which is where the Bing Bong comes from. He looks like the character Anger, whose head explodes into fire flames. I'm telling you, Ryan knows what I'm talking about. He looks like Anger.
Yeah, I'm not really into the animated.
It's
movies.
okay. It's Pixar. It's pretty good, but that's okay. John, our old producer John, would be having a heart attack right now because
I didn't see it.
Yeah, and he loves that movie. That's where he got
would.
the Bing Bong from. But,
sounds like you two do also.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But anyway, I can understand why Patrick Waugh is upset. He's concerned about the health and safety of a player. Romanov looked like he was really in a lot of pain as he was helped off the ice.
Here's what I would say to Patrick, and we're friends. Why are you getting upset at the coaches on the other bench? Do you think Rantanen went out there intentionally to fall down and push the guy into the boards?
It clearly was an accident, but it's horrible, right?
Yeah, and I would be looking down and going, dude, your guy is the one that kind of helped him fall into him.
Yeah.
So, but regardless of who it is, but that's Patrick. I mean, he comes out that way. If he was a player, he would be doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm watching the replay. He's yelling at Mikko.
Yeah,
he's always yelling at Mikko.
He yells at Mikko first.
Yeah, but I thought he was screaming at the bench before they got
it
up.
looked like he was doing it after Mikko started.
No,
to go down
he
the
was
tunnel.
screaming at him on the ice. But then he was walking up and down the bench screaming at the other. I thought
Mikko was between. You can walk between the benches to go back toward the Stars dressing room there. So Mikko's in that tunnel. They showed a picture of Mikko's looking up at the video board, asking. You could actually read his lips saying, "Am I out? Am I out?" He didn't know if he was thrown out or not because they called the 5-minute major for boarding in a game misconduct. Immediately initiated a review that the call ultimately stood. He's then trying to find out, is that, am I gone? And it looked like after he was yelling, and maybe I wonder if, again, speculating here, I wonder if somebody on the Dallas bench.
Weren't we under 10 minutes in the game?
Yeah.
Well, if you got a 5 and 10.
Yeah. Well, no.
Do the math.
No. He was waiting to find out if they had upheld the review because they were reviewing whether it was a major or not. Right?
Okay.
Anyway, I'm wondering if somebody on the Dallas bench took exception to Patrick Waugh yelling at Mikko as he was leaving.
I don't know, but you get him fired up. I mean, it doesn't.
And of course,
much.
as you said, you mentioned to me off air, they have a previous relationship from Colorado.
Oh yeah. So I mean,
I don't know whether positive or negative or in between.
Yeah, well, I don't think it would be good, to be honest with you, because I think they kind of felt like he bailed on him. I mean, it was right before the season was getting going.
When things ended, it did not end well for the Avs and Patrick Waugh at that time. It was August, I think it was. And then they brought Jared Bednar up.
Well,
and they had
Bednar's pretty happy about it.
Horrible season, but they stuck with him and eventually
won a Stanley Cup.
They won a Stanley Cup and it paid off. So what do you think then happens next?
To Mikko?
Yeah.
There's definitely going to be a phone call. The last thing you want, and the phone call will be just short and sweet, right? And it'll be say, listen, here's what happened. But if he says, we need you to come in, when you get asked to come in, it's usually minimum of 5.
Is Sam ready for us now, Ryan? Or is he still getting ready?
Asking me when
okay, because it appears that he may have something of interest about the Patrick Waugh yelling and who was yelling back.
Well, why don't we bring the little guy in?
Well, if he's connected.
He's not connected.
As soon as he connects, I'll bring him on.
So do you think he gets a game? Do you think the 5 and 10 is enough? Ironically, last year, Casey Cizikas got in trouble for a big hit against Liam Bichel. Yeah. And we had a big debate out about whether it should have been. I don't think he was suspended from that.
Well, he didn't get suspended because, his shoulder was down. He didn't target, and he just ran through him. And anyway, I do think he's going to get at least a game.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, it looks bad, but again, if you slow it down, maybe they can see where Mayfield was trying to put a little interference with him. Because I thought he tripped, and that's what started him, finishing out the way it did. I just don't know if he tripped on Mayfield or if he tripped himself.
So Sam got into
Sam's blowing her phone up. So we get the little Gilligan in here, or what are we doing?
Or is he too busy in the group text? He needs 5 minutes.
He needs 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, let's continue here with this. The third period. We're going to continue going backwards, right? Because we started backwards. Let's just go in reverse order, because then we'll get to the reviews you have of the first two periods, which those are later.
This is like a Seinfeld episode, isn't that the ones where it goes backwards?
Starting with the end, and then you keep 5 minutes earlier. Yeah, we might as well just keep going with it.
When they go to India?
Yeah.
It's the India. Thank you.
Yeah.
See, now if Sam had connected, he would have had no idea what we're talking about. You'd say, George, take off those Timberlands. It's not making you any taller and blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's. So we're going to at least start at the beginning of the third period here. Bo Horvat scores on a loose puck in the crease that was the flukiest of bounces, but also a misplay by Jake Ottinger.
Yeah, it comes off the back wall short side on Jake's blocker side, and somehow, and we looked at it, I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because I thought maybe his stick got caught up in the net, and that's why I was looking really hard. But Jake just fanned on this one. I mean, it may, I know it, stuck basically close to the net, wasn't able to grab it with his right hand. And obviously, here's what I didn't like. It was Ritzkovian before that puck comes out. Okay, Ritzkovian is going down to the back of the net. There's already another defenseman down there, but Ritzkovian should have went to the front of the net, because if he goes to the front of the net, Horvat's not standing alone. He went down with another player from Dallas, and then there was another one from there. He was kind of puck chasing, puck watching, but if he goes to the front of the net, unfortunately, Horvat's standing all by himself there, and when Jake misplays it, he's just a little tap-in.
It's just a tap-in, and that's unfortunate for the Stars because, relatively early in the third period, all of a sudden the Islanders get their lead back.
Yeah.
It was 1-1 after the Robo goal. We'll talk about that later. Then they get that. It's 2-1. There was a play, Luds. I thought Kyle Capobianco looked pretty good most of the game tonight, with at least one exception.
One right down the slot.
That's the play I'm talking about. Yep. Gully even made a point this morning to say how well he thought he played in the last game against the Flyers. However, great save by Ottinger to deny Siplikov, who danced past Capobianco.
Well, a couple guys got danced tonight, as a matter of fact.
We'll get to that one, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but here's the deal with Coco Cabana. The scoop is on him. He has played well, and he's not. He doesn't get a steady diet when you're playing in the minors and things like that.
Yep.
He's not getting a steady diet of playing against the best players in the game. And so over the course of 15, 18 minutes, whatever he played tonight, against, and again, certain players, that stuff's going to happen. If you get a steady dose of playing against these guys every single night, you're a little bit more dialed in, and and you think everything's going well, and you just can't let your guard down.
Well, then Kyle Palmieri scores shorthanded. Think about this sequence. Oscar Beck gets high
This is a
sticked
Seinfeld episode.
right in the nose. Blood leaking out from his beak. 4-minute double minor. They're down 2-1, but you're going, okay, they haven't had really any power play opportunities. Now they're going to get 4 minutes. One of the hottest power plays in the league has scored 8 straight games. And they give up a shorthanded goal to Kyle Palmieri on a 2-on-1 the other way.
Well, this power play reminded me a bit of last year. They had 4 attempts on entries, and they've been very good at it.
Very good.
Wyatt, this one here, it got turned over, and that's how ultimately Palmieri goes down. But they had 4 times in a row where they're trying to, and you can see that they have done their homework, the New York Islanders. They are double teaming the puck carrier because here's what they do there. And so they have 2 guys there all the time, and they turned it over. Then they turned it over. Next thing you know, there was basically no time left. And then Wyatt, one more attempt, and that's where Palmieri goes down. And again, I'm sorry, but this to me is Jake is off his angle. I mean, Palmieri's a good shooter. We know that. He's a guy, they've loved him there, and he's a big time guy. He comes up at the right time, playoff guy. He's good at those moments. But I don't think this isn't like Rantanen shooting on you.
Did you think that there was any interference on Rope Hintz as Wyatt came in, or was that just Wyatt turning it over on the entry? That
was Wyatt turning it over.
Because there was Rope did get kind of upended right at the blue line.
Yeah, I know,
there.
and that you're trying to draw some. You already got 4 minutes. Just stay up.
But that's why
I mean, again, it's worked for them all year long. I mean, again, I get it. They've been nailing those things, but on your first 3 attempts, it didn't work. So for me, if I'm sitting on the bench, which was exactly where I should be if there was a 4-minute power play or any power play, I'd be sitting on the bench. I'd be saying, guys, we have 4 minutes here.
Right.
Get the puck in. We have time to recover it. Let's quit spending time going back to our own end. 15 seconds gone, 15. So, for me, 1-2 times is enough. Next time somebody's saying, we got to get the puck in, let's go get it.
Well, then, of course, Jamie takes the penalty for high sticking, which didn't actually look like high sticking.
No, that was a sell job.
Scott Mayfield, who was part of the end plays there.
It was kind of back. Stick was back here.
Threw his head up. The stick kind of caught him in the chest. He threw his head back, got the call. That interrupted part of it, and then the Stars couldn't score, but they did get one later. We'll get to that. We'll talk to Sam. So much more here on the DLS Stars postgame show after a 3-2 loss to the Islanders tonight.
In case you haven't heard, we've got the face-off collection. And it's the same green shirt and the black shirt, but they're very cool shirts, right? Everybody see them that's watching? Awesome. Let's take a look at the captain shirt since he returned, the Jamie Benn shirt. And again, we just wanted to prove it tonight. He did not have a visor on.
He did
not.
So
unlike this picture here, which I know it's something about the captain written on there that looks like it's a visor.
It has 2 N's for Jamie Benn. That's why it's Captain.
I never noticed that. I don't get that.
Well,
what is that for?
Jamie Benn's last name is Benn.
Yeah. You wore the shirt yesterday.
I never saw that before. I
don't
ever listen to these things. I don't watch them when they're talking about them. I don't listen to them.
The designer added an extra N like Captain.
But you
that designer putting, who's the designer, Ryan?
No, it's not Ryan, our producer.
Why do we got a shield on Jamie Benn? I know, because it's the only place you can put the captain with 2 N's.
Captain over his
face. You shouldn't have. Okay. Anyway, and then we got the Finnish Mafia shirt, which is probably number 1 seller, I would assume. And let's put up the Otter shirt since I already threw him under the bus. Do we have the brick wall from the other night?
I was waiting for you to ask for that.
Wait, we got to find the appropriate time for that. I don't know if there's ever going to be an appropriate time.
All right, Luds, it's time
for
me to talk about the supporters club because our GM loves it when you tear apart the shirts and then tell everybody to buy them after.
Yeah, well, why not?
It. You should become part of the supporters club because if you look at the chat right now, we have a lot of people in our chat and they're having great debates and some craziness, and that's generally what happens in the chat. But if you want to stand out even more and be really a DLS sicko, sign up to the supporters club. Ryan put the link in the chat, I think earlier already in the show, or he's going to do it now at some point. And what it does is not only gives you an official badge. Yes, Harry, one of our diehards, we know you love those badges. You need those badges. And then it gives you access to special emojis. Those are exclusive, plus exclusive content. In fact, we did one around Halloween, a video that was really funny. And Luds cursed in it, although they censored him. No, they didn't, because it was exclusive content. They did not.
What did I say?
You, I believe, said one of our most flowery F words.
There's more than one? Right now, I have to stop saying.
I think something like that.
Our most flowery F word. Is there more than one?
I can think of a couple.
Really?
Yeah. But let's move on. We'll have a conversation later about profanity, which I think you could probably teach me a thing or two about. Let's bring on Sam over at the AAC because Sam, I have a feeling that Sam wasn't ready for us. Go figure.
Go figure.
He says he needs 5 minutes. We tell him we're ready, and then he's off screen. Come on, Sam.
I was in the bathroom.
Yeah, wake up. So I imagine that there's plenty of raw emotion after that one. Luds and I talked about all things happened basically in the third period. We haven't talked about the first or second period at all yet because we're going backwards.
Because why would you?
When you go to the post game, what's the reaction like from players and coaches after this game?
Yeah, well, my initial reaction is Lud's still arguing about the Jamie Benn visor on the shirt. I don't know how that's still going on, even though that shirt's been around for months. But more importantly, the team, it's kind of funny that usually you go in, there's one big topic, right? There's someone who had a great game, or there's a bad hit, or there's one big thing. Tonight there were 2, and they both happened basically in the last 2 minutes of the game. So we'll start with the Rantanen hit. Glenn Goaltender was very honest about it. He gave a long answer. He said, first of all, I've known Rantanen long enough and seen him play long enough to know that he's not going in there trying to injure somebody. He's not trying to throw a cross check into a lower back and get someone to go flying. Perfect. Look at that. I got a screenshot. The point he was trying to make is Mayfield right there behind him, the Islander skater that's behind Rantanen. He believes that he's actually holding up Rantanen and they clip skates. which causes Rantanen to go in. The way I describe that hit is out of control. Rantanen's a little out of control. Reminded me a little of Mason Marchment when he get those penalties once in a while. And that's exactly what would have happened if you're clipping skates. I didn't go back and watch the full thing enough to know whether he did clip his skates or not. But the reason I bring it up is because Goldson is not the kind of guy who hides behind something and tries to just defend his player. He's going to tell you what he feels. And he gave a long answer for it. And the funny part was on the ice, not funny because Romanov was on the ice. By the way, he did not have to go to the hospital. That's
Good.
the only update we have so far on him. But he's on the ice. Mikko's kind of down there on the ice as well, and everyone's calm. And then all of a sudden, Mayfield just attacks Mikko. This is 30 seconds to a minute after the hit and after everyone's already down. And I'm curious to wonder if Mikko said something to Mayfield saying like, you know, what are you coming after me for? Is your fault, or you tripped me or something? Because Mayfield absolutely lost his mind on him and tried to go at him despite his teammate being laying there on the ice. So, you know, everyone said the same thing. They want the player's health first. But then as soon as he was up and off the ice, they were thinking, hey, we're in a worse spot here, but there's still time. We still have time to score this goal and try to tie this game. And then you fast forward, and Robo probably should score on that backdoor one-timer that he scores on a million times. David Rittich makes an incredible save. And then that play happens. And the different answers from the Stars were all pretty much what you'd expect. You know, one player saying, I thought he was pushed in. The other player saying that, you know, the Islanders are probably saying that he went in on his own and then was pushed. I think that's the argument there. It's not whether Pollock is pushing him. He's obviously cross-checking him and pushing him into the goalie. But if you're already going into the crease on your own and then you get pushed into the goalie, it's your responsibility. And I think that's the argument there. And Tyler Seguin said that exactly. He said, here's our argument and here's theirs. We both wanted to win the game. We're both going to say the same thing. But the key part of that I took away was after all that stuff with Rantanen and everything, when the whole building is quiet and shocked and no idea what's going on, you look over at that Stars bench, and I'm sure if you guys haven't already, I'm sure you'll talk about what was happening on the other bench. But the Stars were huddled. They were ready to go, make a play. Hey, we're going to win the faceoff. We're going to ship the puck down. We're going to have all of our forwards bail so we can get Jake off. We can get the extra attacker. We can try to tie this game. I think that's important to remember there because while everything else is chaotic, this Stars coaching staff and team were focused on still trying to find a way to get a point. And whether it was legal or not, they did put a puck in the net to tie the game with 0.1 seconds left. The other thing,
I know you saw something about the interaction after the collision and the penalty to Rantanen, which was reviewed. Ryan, if you have that screenshot of Patrick Waugh, we had a particular shade of red that we saw on his face there.
Oh, yeah.
I saw you were texting our group while we were on. Did you see more about what was and who was engaging with the Islanders head coach there?
Yeah, so at first it looks like Rantanen is skating off to get between the two benches he's not sure whether he's out of the game or where he's supposed to go. So he's kind of standing there looking up, trying to figure out where he's supposed to go. He's got his helmet off. And Waugh, I believe, starts yelling at the bench. I don't know what he's yelling about. I'm hoping that maybe Luds can do some investigating. I'm imagining it wasn't in English because Alain Nasreddine was the one who was yelling back. So I can imagine maybe that was a French argument
French
that
connection?
was happening across the French connection. But the part I thought was interesting was he's yelling. We know Patrick Waugh. If you ever saw him play, that's Patrick Waugh when he was playing. He's the same way. Luds knows well. But you look at him yelling. He's yelling at the bench. Alain Nasredine's kind of yelling back. And then Rantanen comes between them. And he's trying to get off the ice. And he's kind of hanging around. And Waugh starts to point it directly at Rantanen. I don't know what he said, but it looked a lot like get the F out of the game, get off the ice, you know, go to the room, you're done or whatever. And then Rantanen comes back because he's not sure. It was just, it's crazy to see the whole thing. But I asked Goldson about it. He said he wasn't sure. I think he was there, so he's probably not sharing some things. But that was also the moment when Goldson was down planning the play off the faceoff. So Goldson's kind of in his own, you know, situation with Neil Graham. They're trying to plan what they're going to do 6-on-5, win the faceoff, and Alain Nasreddine stepping in, arguing most likely in French. And I got to tell you, lads, that's two guys. Neither one of them do I want to stand in between when they are in that kind of mood.
Before we get a really funny but probably snide comment about your height from my colleague.
Nothing. I'm done. I already gave him my shot.
So I feel like there's another one always chambered in just in case. did you guys get a chance to talk to Jamie Benn? Because I know he was still on LTIR officially during the morning media availability, so he did not talk to the media before the game. Did he talk afterwards, and what did he say?
Yeah, he did. Not much from Jamie Benn as always, but he was honest about coming back and said he's still trying to shake some of the rust off. He actually said he felt good, and Goltz said the same thing. And I'm sure you guys agree. He looked pretty good. He didn't look like there was a lot of rust. He was moving pretty well. He got bumped up to the Sam Steele spot on the top line on the left wing pretty often. End of the first period, last 4 or 5 shifts of the second period, and then a bunch in the third period. Getting his chance in the power play. I think the interesting quote actually came from his buddy Tyler Seguin, who said not only how great it is to have him back, the lift that it gave the team and all those things, but the work behind the scenes that we don't get to see from Jamie Benn. He didn't just say in his rehab, because we talked about it pregame. This rehab sucked, right? You tell a lot of athletes to go sit on the couch and watch TV. 99% of them are going to argue with you, but Jamie Benn especially feels like the kind of guy who just doesn't sit still very well. So Tyler said that not only was the recovery impressive to see how hard he worked and how much he was trying to get back, but he actually said the stuff you don't see behind the scenes is what defines Jamie Benn. And I thought that was a great quote, because all we hear is how great of a captain he is, how great of a leader, how great he is when he speaks up. We don't get to see any of that. So it's good to kind of get insight from the guys when we can get it.
Yeah, I mean, usually the best stuff to learn about Jamie is to ask the other guys, not him, because he doesn't like to talk about himself at all.
Yeah, everybody knows that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. What did you think of Jamie tonight, watching his first game of the season?
Well, I liked what he did. I mean, again, you got to get through that, and he was skating very well. His shifts were around 40, 45 seconds, so he wasn't going to push it. And then, like you mentioned, that one opportunity that I had, Gully threw him up there with, I think it was Wyatt, and probably ran it on that.
He replaced Steele on that line.
Yeah, so I think that tells you something about what Gully feels about how he's doing, which is more important than what we think.
Well, and there were two things, Sam, that stood out to me at the beginning of the game. One was because they rolled 4 lines to begin, he didn't get on the ice until about 3 minutes in.
Yeah.
But there was a huge cheer from the AAC crowd as soon as he stepped over the boards and onto the ice, which I thought was a nice ovation for him. And then he looked for a hit early. He threw his body around. He wasn't, I mean, not that I expected any different, but he wasn't tiptoeing in. He wasn't tap dancing around. He went and tried to initiate contact. Sam and I were kind of wondering, because we haven't really seen, unless he did it in the practice they had up in Canada, any real contact practices. So unless they're, or battling or anything, unless they're doing it in the gym and throwing some boxing gloves on or something.
Well, he played 3 minutes and 40 seconds in the first period, and he played about 3:50 in the second. He ended up with 6.5, and I think he ended up with just under 10 minutes. So I think that's kind of normal for a guy coming back and making sure.
Yeah, 9:46 was his
making
time.
sure that he's feeling right. And again, I think they try to put him out there and bump him up a little bit every once in a while. So he's going to work his way. He's not going to be staying on the fourth line.
Somebody tweeted at me a picture of Brett Hull scoring in Game 6 of the 99 Cup final, and I'm wondering if they feel like Dallas maybe owes the league a crease violation or something.
See, there you could go into the crease after the puck.
He had possession by that point. So
Sam, you knew that was coming.
Let's do that again. Sam, any final thoughts here in the segment? We got some super chats coming up next, but the Stars have a 5-game winning streak snapped. Obviously, the injuries leading to Capobianco and Kolyachonok playing tonight. But then we get to a point here where the Stars just had, 5 in a row. They've been piling up points, and they end up with 0 tonight.
Yeah, the thing I'll say is this was such a sleepy game. Like, it almost felt like neither team really wanted to do a whole lot more than check and get the puck in. And neither goalie had to be great early on. I think the shots were 10-10 in the first period and 15-15 at the end of 2. So not a whole lot of chances, not a ton of offense. A couple times they get pinned in. I thought Ritchkovian's line was great early on, and then they actually got pinned in a couple times that led to the goal. So it's an interesting thing to watch, because Goldson talked about he loved Capobianco and Petrovic and those guys on the back end that needed to step up did. But the one takeaway I'll say is that this team, and I've said it before because it happens all the time, this team's never out of the game. And that is a trait that is very good to have. And we've seen it in the playoffs too, right? Where Game 7, Colorado right here behind me was a perfect example of a lot of teams may be out of that game and the other Colorado's moving on. This team has that fight in them. I'm curious to see how many more times we see that, because whether they're up 4-1 and they're giving up a lead and that's not so fun to watch, or they're down 3-1 late and they find a way to tie it or get close. It's fun to watch this team, man.
Yeah, here's Sam. Here's what's going to happen is other teams are going to take a look at this game, because I was telling Owen, the first thing I wrote down tonight is Patrick Waugh will want to play a low-event hockey game against them because of the weapons that they have. You do not want to exchange chances with this team. If you can play a boring game, which it was a boring game, you're playing the perfect game against them, and you want to stay out of the box, obviously.
And, no penalties. Yep, that's the key.
Yeah.
All right, Sam, thank you very much. Look forward to your further breakdown online, alldls.com. Make sure you're a diehard so you can read his stuff. And we will see Sam tomorrow on our show at 2 p.m. here at the Lounge Studio. We'll be right here, but maybe with a booster seat for Sam. See, we had to get one more. Sam, have a good night, bud.
See you guys.
Oh, he was going to say something.
He was going to say something.
You cut him off.
I think, he cut himself off. I think, again, that's just leaving
Sugar honey iced tea.
He's still there. He never actually just off the screen, but you can still hear him. All right. Up next, maybe breakdowns, but definitely super chats here on the DLS Stars postgame show. Let's start with the ball knower bonus. Now, this is something that we've talked about a fair amount here on our show, but not lately. But there's a big one this week. Cowboys-Eagles is coming up, amongst others. How do you get into the ball knower bonus? Well, it's really easy. Luds has been hawking shirts and telling you why they're so great and why you should buy them. Well, why not capitalize on a little extra? Meaning, if you buy merchandise, $25 or more, you pick a ball knower bonus in the process, and you're right, All City will send you a gift card for merchandise in the amount that you spent, meaning you basically double your money. So if you want both shirts, buy one, do the ball knower bonus. You can get the other one if you win. One of them this week is Cowboys-Eagles picking the winner. There's a bunch of different ones. You go to our website, alldls.com. You click on merchandise. Then up at the top, there's a little link. It says ball knower bonus. That'll give you the options. You can go through the different ones they have, pick one, spend the money, and all of a sudden you double it. Why not be right and get more great DLS merch? Speaking of which, let's talk about why you should be a diehard and then do the ball knower bonus, because as a diehard, not only do you get a free shirt if you've never signed up before for your first year of your annual subscription, you also get 20% off merchandise, access to all the articles. You can sign up for the newsletter for free at the website just at the bottom of the screen there, alldls.com/newsletter. But in addition to all that, you get access to the Cowboys, Mavs, Rangers, and Stars articles. Of course, you get events, 20% off, merch, 20% off, and access to the diehard only Discord lounge. All really great features to join into this incredible DLLS diehard community that continues to grow. We're only a little over a year old. It's going to be continually getting bigger and bigger as we do more and more coverage of your favorite Dallas sports teams. Sign up today at the QR code at the bottom of the screen. Luds, we have 4 breakdowns that we wanted to get to, but we have so many super chats and we have so much to talk to. We may not.
The game's over. We don't need to get to them.
We may not be able to get to those. So maybe Liam Bichel doesn't get a demonstration of young Matthew Schaefer blowing by him with a dangle. But that was a good one.
Always tomorrow.
That's true. And we'll have lots to talk about. By the way, just as a teaser, if you haven't seen it yet, the Dallas Morning News is at it again, and Leah has a new story about a new court filing by the Stars against the Mavericks accusing them of stuff.
Lord.
The saga continues. We'll talk about it on the show tomorrow. So let's get to your super chats. Hit them up. Let's go. We'll get to all of them, hopefully within the time frame, but Luds loves his overtime.
Bing
So
bang.
hit him up. Start with Craig's Buttwig, a Oscar Beck and year after the cup. Forget that call. A breakaway versus Otter seems automatic all year. He's been so meh. The shorty chances / goals need to stop. The streak was always going to end, but that's a bad L. Also, shady move by Mikko.
I concur.
Yeah. All right. Marshall, second with
Bing bang.
Heiskanen 99. I have no thoughts y'all haven't already covered, but that ending was heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it would have been beautiful, right? I mean, Hey, that's closer than I thought they were going to get, to be honest with you.
If they had found a way to tie it, even if they were to end up losing in overtime or a shootout, you'd say, hey, that's great. You got a point. I thought the Stars were the better team more often tonight than the Islanders as far as generating chances. I thought, as you said earlier, the Islanders' main job was to try to limit chances against. They were trying to suffocate the game. And yet, I thought Dallas also made some sloppy plays as far as allowing stuff counterattack against them, which played right into the way the Islanders wanted to play.
Yeah, like I said, the second period, I mean, Dallas didn't have a shot for 8 minutes. Neither did the Islanders.
The Islanders didn't either,
But I'm saying is Dallas, who is the powerhouse of these two.
Yep.
So there was a certain way that they played that I don't know if it frustrated them. I'm sure it does because they're used to getting these quality chances at times. So
yeah, there was a pretty big stretch there in the second period where a whole lot of nothing came on. Although Robo, I love that pass by Petrovic to Robertson early in the second where he was really a shot pass for a redirection. Robo had him, it just hit the crossbar. But I'm telling you, Luds, Petro has looked like he's elevated his game the last 3 games. Going back to the Montreal game, then Philly, now here tonight. I don't know if it's just being more comfortable. He's playing more minutes, but
of course
he looks like he is relishing.
He's settling in, and the thing is when you're playing and you have injuries, so you pretty much know you're playing tomorrow night, and then you're playing the next night.
He's not thinking about.
I'm not worrying about not being in the lineup tomorrow night. I'm just going to do my job. Yeah. I'm going to be back in it, and then a little bit more and a little. That's what I said. Sometimes Elaine may be saying to Petro, "Hey, hang in there a little bit more on the offensive blue line. You know, you can make those plays.
Don't be afraid to take a risk because we're not going to take it. Well, now that's a great thought. There's no way with 3 injuries in the back end that Petrovic is coming out of the lineup.
Just don't get too comfortable.
Right. Don't get cocky now. All right, let's go to the next one. We have Eric with Ben and Sagan. Welcome back, Captain, and let's go, Sagan. Thank you, Eric. We appreciate that. Then Luds' absolute favorite, although there's a couple of them here. I don't know. You'll have to tell me which one you like better. Is it Finger Blaster 911 or the next one we'll get to with a Bischel and a,
nice.
And a nice. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if anybody wore that for the Stars, but I can always look it up. Might be kind of cool if one day Toronto reviews embellishments / dives and punishes accordingly. Luds, we were complaining about a couple of, obviously, that high stick against Jamie Benn in the third, but you said they were doing it all over the ice all night.
If they would just start calling, they have an embellishment call. If they would
Nick
enforce
Cousins
it.
just got fined by the league for his second offense.
How many times a night do you think you could do it in every game? You could probably do it once,
right?
I think you could do it every night. And as soon as they start doing that and they put their other teams at risk and goals start going in because of it, I believe it'll stop.
All right, let's go to the next one. This is another name that I think Luds is particularly fond of. It's called the Grundle Gobbler with a Lundqvist and year after the cup. I can't believe I said that out loud. Hoping Mikko doesn't dial back the intensity and physicality now, regardless of any possible suspension. It's becoming obvious he is that guy.
Oh, he's the guy.
He is the guy.
The guy. No question.
You were on Spit and Chicklets on Sunday. It came out yesterday, Monday, and I watched.
Did they chop it up and just use little tiny, make me look dumber than I normally am?
No, they had you in the full visit. But you were raving about Mikko I don't think the Dallas Stars have ever had a player quite like him.
Yeah, I remember saying to them, like, I didn't know how good he was when he played.
You compared him to one of the greats all time in Mario Lemieux.
Well, I think they asked me about what other players were that hard to play against and things like that.
Physicality.
Yeah, and I just said, Mario with the skill and stuff with the size. But yeah, I mean, when you get I do remember saying, when you get to watch this guy every single night, I honestly can't remember a poor game. I can't remember a poor period. Like, he gives you everything he's
a worker bee.
He just
that big and that skilled.
I do think that when he thinks back to being, with the Avs and when you had Makar and McKinnon, there's more of those guys here. Maybe not as dynamic
to the high of that level.
I'm just saying he can look around and go, Wyatt and Tyler and
Robo
and Miro.
Harley.
I just think there's a there's more here, and he's going, this is fun.
Well,
playing
I mean,
here.
look, everything for the Avs power play goes through McCarr and McKinnon, right?
But I'm saying that's where I think they live for, is that power play. I think here you can live for 5-on-5 because of what they can
It doesn't
create.
just have, although the power play with Mikko has been incredible.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure necessarily that was going to work well with how do you incorporate Robo, who is sort of the focal point of shooting, but they've found a way to get
they share it.
Yeah.
They're sharing it now. Like you can tell now the shooter, he knows he doesn't have just one shooter. He's got Wyatt and he's got Robo.
Yep.
And generally, when you're on the power play, especially, one of those two guys is going to find a way to be open.
And he's so dynamic with passing. We haven't seen him line up the one-timer very much because he doesn't have to.
Right.
All right, let's go to the next one. Another fun one for Luds. It's Biden's diaper with
bang.
a Heiskanen and a Ben. He has the poop emoji. Let's bounce back next game. Get Jamie number 400. I thought he was going to get it pretty early
That one
in the game.
from Rantanen?
From Rantanen in the first period. He had a good
and
look.
he knew what he was doing. He was trying to get to the far post and tuck it in there between the post and the light. It was a good save by Rittich. Yeah, it was a good play by Rittich.
It was a good save by Rittich, who made the save on Wyatt just before that from a Rantanen pass. Hidalgo with a Ludwig and a Robertson. Let's see. That's F the refs and F the NHL. That was a goal. And then Hidalgo has another one. This one's a Robertson and a Johnston. I'm normally calm about the calls, but this is legitimately a BS call and pissed me off. The league robbed the Stars of the point. Robo was shoved into Rittich by Pulak. What the F is the NHL thinking? Anything to add to that?
I think I already gave my rant.
All right. Next one, finger blaster again with a Bischel and another nice. A haiku for Patricia Waugh of, oh God, come on now. From Monday, okay, all right, good enough. Let's keep moving. You can see it on the screen. That's fine. Jay guys with a Lundqvist and year after the cup. Toronto saying Robo's skate grazed across the crease. Therefore, Pulak could shove Robo into his own goalie. Therefore, goalie interference. It's BS.
I'm starting to think that some of these questionable ones that you're reading here, that I'm related to any of them.
You think?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Anybody using
what
those?
they're writing sounds like my family.
All right.
I don't know.
You'll have to poll the audience when you get home. And then we have another one from Eric with a Heiskanen and a Harley. How long is 55 out? The only thing we know right now, Eric, is that they named him as week to week, which means that's not, he's not on the verge of coming back right away. Now, suddenly, week to week can turn into day to day, and you never know. But I would say,
shouldn't Sam be getting to the bottom of this?
Well, he can try, but I don't know if he's got any.
Well, he's
more
close
details.
to the bottom. He should be able to get there.
Oh, I knew there was another one in there. He had another short joke ready. I love it. All right, that's the end of our super chats. Although if you end of any more in the next couple minutes, feel free. Luds, if you had to pick any of our breakdowns here, any of them, Robo's goal, the Ritchie goal, the Schaefer dangling past Bischel, the box out and Miro's defense, any of them?
Well,
what you really
the
want to share?
Bischel one, only because I've seen him do this a little bit. And again, it was really, here's the other thing that Dallas really did. We talked up Schaefer, didn't we? I mean, everybody had.
Deservedly so.
You didn't see him much. Dallas did a good job there. Now, there was the one time here that if it would have went in, it would have definitely been a highlight reel. But this was more about Leon Bischel, I think, than it was for Schaefer for me.
Did we freeze on the what the puck? This is number 2, by the way. There it is.
So all I'm trying to say here, and this is, I guess, this is for defensemen that are watching. So Bischel's actually in a good spot right here. He's in a great spot. But this is what happens is he starts to get his head and his upper body over his feet, and he's leaning forward. So when somebody makes a move on you, it's hard to recover. And Schaefer makes a great move here. I mean, he goes like, he makes it look, you can't pause it. If he would have come to the middle of the ice, if he wants to, okay, if it looks like he's going to come to the middle of the ice, you're already there.
Yeah.
So you pretty much know I'm good.
There's
Stay
only
here.
One way to go.
Just stay here. We're fine, okay? But he leans forward. He tries to poke check. He gets himself extended. And then Schaefer does this little move where he brings the puck back through his feet. And now he's got the advantage and he's got the lane driving to the net. And then ultimately, Leon is on the outside looking in. And I just want to show. So here's that move. Here's where he's selling that he's going to the middle, but almost you can see is his stick. So that means, well, he's not going to drive right into me. So he's setting me up for something. And this is where he pulls it back. He slides it between his legs in the same motion. He takes a hard right-hand turn. And Bischel, again, there's that body leaning over the top of his skates. Now, for a guy that's 6'7", 260 pounds or whatever he is, there's no way you can recover on this thing.
And
that's his head, by the way. I'm drawing.
You would know better than I would, but they always say, as a defending player, to stare at the core, the waist, and look at the body. Don't worry about the puck.
Yeah, but
did he get caught?
The old school way was stare him right in the middle of the chest, because their chest is the one thing that doesn't.
They can't really move it all.
Just stay there. But the big thing is, if you're playing, he's coming down our left side. I'm playing my left shoulder off his right shoulder, because now I know I have him here. And then I tell our defenseman, anytime a forward stops his feet, he doesn't like your positioning. He wants you to get horny and kind of come to him. Oh, Jesus, horny and come to him. I should just stop right now. He wants you to move to him, right? And so when he does that, now he opens up the middle. Let's move on.
All right, let's go say thank you. We got a couple super chats that came in.
Bing bang.
So do you want to do those, or should we do OT for that? We can pull it off? Yeah. Okay. Biden's diaper with a Hatcher in year after the cup. What is the date y'all will be at Hooters?
The 7th.
It's December 7th. It's part of our DLS Stars takeover. Only people that have tickets can come up for our pre-game taping and the Hooters buffet. I'm sure other people will
anybody can go to Hooters, right?
Anybody can go, and then we, with the people that have tickets, will be going to the Stars game against the Penguins.
Bing bang.
I would imagine other parts of Hooters will be open
to
the public. You can come find us, and then Delta Mouse 09 with a Ludwig and Cup 99 Cup beer. If you're Gully, what do you say in the room?
Oh, move on.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been on a roll.
One night.
Yeah, and again, they didn't play a horrible game here. I mean, hey, guys, we were not going to win the rest of the games this year, right? Did we play our best game? No. Let's move on. Turn the page.
All right, we got to go. We have Luds. We have
I'm getting
Sam,
the signal.
We have Ryan. I'm Owen. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Ed McMahon is
we
giving
will
us
be here tomorrow at 2 o'clock Central Time live for another edition of the DLS Stars podcast. Catch us then. Don't forget to tell your friends. We'll see you then. So long.
I like hot times with men.
We all silly like the mayor.